I'm 100% sure this is gonna hit BGG Top 100 this year.
And it's one of my favorite games of all time now.
Oh, and yeah, that.
This is the review for the board game Hegemony, the good and bad about it.
By the end of this video, you will know if should you spend your hegemony to get this.
You mean money?
What did I say?
We have 6 democratic questions that we will answer in this video, but before we do that, Giannis, what is this fuss all about?
In Hegemony, you are either going to be the working class, or the middle class, or capital class, or no, that's it for classes, just the state. So there are 4 totally different asymmetrical roles that you play.
Capitalists really want to get money, as much money as they can, and pay in taxes as little as they can.
Working class, totally different. They want their people to have good education, healthcare, and that improves their prosperity.
Then there's middle class, who's in between. They want to get money, sell off stuff, but also prosperity and well-being of their people is really important.
It's in the name. It's right in the middle between capitalist class and the working class. And the last one is the state, which is the most different from all.
They want to raise their legitimacy by helping out others. You know, if you're the working class and I kind of help you out with that thing, you're okay with me being in charge. You just want to raise legitimacy with each of those classes, and the higher legitimacy is, the better. But there's also events.
There's all kinds of bad things that usually happen that you have to deal with. If you don't deal with those things, you're gonna lose points. If you deal with them, you're gonna gain points. But all of that costs actions.
Every single class wants to achieve their goals, and by doing that they get victory points, and who has the most victory points at the end of the game will be the winner.
On your turn, you're gonna have cards in your hand, and all you do is play this card, either for the text on the card, simple, just do what it says, or discard it and do one of your actions.
Everybody goes around and plays those cards, and when it comes time, all the companies that they have created or they work in start to produce.
You pay wages, and here's the best part for the state player, you play taxes.
Pay taxes, not play.
Capital class plays taxes.
Yeah.
I have a really grudge on that class. Yeah. Don't like them that much.
And then we get to a very juicy part where you vote for policies. 7 different laws.
And they all affect everybody in some way. You make education and healthcare cheaper. Yes, the middle and the working class are super happy, but less money comes into the state treasury.
From these, it depends how much you need to pay for the wages, it depends how much you need to pay for the taxes, how cheap are the resources, how much the state controls of the companies, what the migration is. Everything is controlled here, and it's so important that these policies are the way you need them to be.
This game is a lot. This is just a super basic overview how this works. So there's so much that we're not even gonna try to tell you everything.
But fortunately for you, we're gonna talk about this game a lot more in this video. So we should jump to the first question.
Who would you buy this for?
3, 2, 1. If all Euro games are the same? If you have ever thought of that, if you have ever said out loud or written it in any forums or any comments anywhere, all Euro games are the same, then this might be for you.
All the super hardcore Euro gamers are not saying, what do you mean they're all the same? They're super different.
There's green resources,
yes,
there's red resources.
And in this one you pay 2 cubes to get 1 cube, and in this one you pay 1 cube to get 2 cubes. What are you talking about? But silly, man. But for me it's just heavy gamers. It's a heavy game because there are a lot of small intricate rules for each of the classes, and if you really want to get into this game, you have to understand how the capitalist class works if you're playing a working class.
You have to also have the mindset of, let's just play it, first time doesn't count, let's go.
But once you understand, commit how everything works, then the game blooms like a flower. What are the best things about this game?
Giannis is finishing up with his text, and I just want to point your attention to that cool jacket he's wearing. Yeah, hoodie. You can get one of those designs in our merch store, and we're gonna leave down in the comments and description the link to our store where you can check out different merch.
Okay, my third best thing about this game are gonna be bills. You can say, you know what? I want to propose a bill that education is gonna be cheaper. Yeah. And then we're gonna vote on it.
One round you did really good by doing one thing, then suddenly one of these policies changes, then doing the same thing won't work anymore. It's a little like a living mechanism.
Everything in this game is connected, and this is one of those things that swings it around the most, like the whole chain of things that are happening here.
I'm gonna say 25 actions. Because this game takes 5 rounds, and each round you can play 5 cards. Either the events, as you said, or there are the main actions. There are also some free actions, but we're not gonna talk about that. It has such a big impact. Every single action, even the smallest thing, changes everything. And there's only 25 of them. You can see the like butterfly effect. You play this, that happens, and those 25 actions feel so important. Yeah.
Every time when I'm in the last round, I'm like, it's only 5 actions to go. I know we've been playing for almost 4 hours. Can we play one more round? It's kind of continuation of the previous thing, but it goes beyond this. It's politics. Do you want to lower the price, capitalist class, for the education? I'll buy from you, not from the government. How about I put something here in the benefits area for you, and you buy from me? You can't play just, you know what, I'm gonna ignore what you do and just do my thing. No, to do things, you need to buy things from other players, and what other players do influences what you can do. Politics is not a mechanism in this, but it will happen naturally. You have a lot of people who could work. Come on, capitalists. Build more places where I could go work. Yeah, I can go on a strike, or I can have a demonstration, and you all lose victory points if you don't provide those. A lot of table talk. I think one game of this has more table talk than all the Euro games that you ever played in your life before. Combined, exactly. Yeah. Kind of trashing on those other Euro games right now.
Number 2, asymmetry.
No, it's wrong. It should have been asymmetric.
Each player will play a completely different game, and if you will play the next round with a different class, you will be playing completely different game. It's not just few skills, few things somewhere there. It's a completely different way how you get victory points. It's a completely different way how you communicate with others, what actions you will have, and what policies you will be interested. Everything changes, but it all works together. Everybody else is doing that thing, so this is how I can synergize with what they are doing and how I get the most out of it. Asymmetry at its like best, for sure. It's completely different, yet in sync.
Fantastic. It's like each of those is a separate mini game that you get to play. Well, not a mini game.
Then the last thing for me, which is single entity. And this is the thing that I love about it the most. Everything works together. If you do the simplest thing ever, it changes completely what I can do and how I feel about it. If capitalist class does well, the state gets taxes. So I'm interested in that capitalist is playing well. He's doing good. Exactly. So I can get money. He can then send those to offshores and I don't get it. That's another whole story. I don't want you to do bad. Well, I do, but I also don't, and it's just such an interesting synergy. And the most important thing, why is it's that good? Because the game designers have researched it all. They have a rulebook, and then they have a book with concepts where you can find how that works in real life and how they implemented it as a mechanism, and it works. The last thing I'm gonna say is that this is the game where we have talked about the most after playing it, especially with you. Not even like, hey, I should have done this or that, but just how it went, what stories did we make?
Yeah, like highlights, like that strike started and then that happened. I should have gone with that. One of the most thematic games I've ever played, and I'm pretty sure it's the most thematic Euro game. Why this game might not be for them?
So number 1 is rules and ... Just wait a second. Here's the rulebook, which is really lovely. Nice rulebook. Here's a player aid for the red player.
Okay. I think I'm good right now, right? I think I'm good.
For the gray player.
Oh, okay, there's more.
Blue player.
Wait, everyone gets one?
Yeah. Here's the small player aid for the red player.
Oh, wait. Okay.
This is general aid, okay? So this is not for single player, this is for...
so everybody
should see that or get that. Okay. And here's yellow and blue players aids as well. There's a lot. There's a lot of small things, and first time you probably will miss some small things, and that's completely okay. Because there's so many small things, probably won't be able to play and do everything correctly.
Personal issue that I've had a couple of times is gonna be card draw. So, like we said, you have a hand of 7 cards at the beginning of the round, and you're gonna play 5 of them. Almost all the time, I want this event, but I need to do this action. Which one do I discard? But sometimes, all of these events are whatever. Wild swings from like a great hand to
But I call it X factors, which I agree that your hand is X factor. So if you don't like random at all, then that will be a problem. Another X factor is interaction between players. This game is not about you being the most efficient. You also need to play against the other players and make sure you get the politics right. Just going against one person and making sure he's having a bad time, then he's gonna make sure you have a bad time. But that's how we lost the last game we played, because we just went at each other. I'm not selling you anything.
Working class and middle class were very unclassy to each other.
And we had fun with it.
Yeah, I totally enjoyed it.
But if you're like a person who doesn't want any interactions, the result doesn't depend on you. The result depends on you, as well as all the X factors that comes into play, which is mostly the other players actually.
Like you said, this is a living organism, and if you kill off one thing, it's gonna affect everything else. You just have to work together, and that kind of comes into my next one, which is like your X factors, but it's like, help me. Because sometimes, for example, the capital class doesn't build companies. You don't have where to put your workers. And if you don't have where your workers, you get less wages, and you're kind of struggling. You're not on your own. You know what, I don't care what you guys do, I have a perfect strategy.
Yeah, you can be the smartest person in the room. You still might lose if you can't communicate and can't make sure that you scratch me, I'll scratch you.
Exactly, this is that type of game, yeah.
And my last thing is I called it fifth round. I noticed from almost all my gameplays that the fifth round is a bit tricky, because at that point you will kind of see who's losing. Maybe not who's winning, it's always been to the wire who's gonna win the game. You play the state and we kind of make sure you bankrupt.
Those medical emergencies kind of collapse the state.
In the last game we played, I was that person. I was doing so well, but then somebody decided that we need to close all imports, and then I had to buy everything so freaking expensive.
You could have bought it from me.
I will never ever in any board game ever buy anything from you ever again. We played both working and middle class, and both got like the last two places because we were clashing with each other all the time.
But we had fun.
It can happen that you feel like the last cards are not worth playing it, but still you will have a great time.
How long is the honeymoon?
2, 1. Just get them to try it, because in my experience the tough part was getting it on the table first time, but whenever we finished the game everybody was like, when we were playing the next time, let's go. There's so much to learn here, and most importantly just the feelings that you have after playing it is something that you will want to get back into it.
For me, it's like 4 rolls, 40 cards each roll. Then there's lots of different companies that's gonna come up this different way. And there's also some expansions. I don't see how this is gonna get repetitive anytime soon.
3, 2, 1. Monopoly.
What?
Well, what I'm saying here is this game is totally unique. It stands on its own. I don't think there's a lot of alternatives. I don't think you will find like a direct thing.
No, definitely not.
I thought maybe Tolkien, like the heaviness of it, could be, and there's also, you have to feed things, but there's a lot less interaction. Somebody who's played Tolkien, I think, would enjoy this, just the heaviness wise. It's very unique.
Well, Here I Stand is my alternative, because I feel the same thematic pull, plus the card-driven game where it all depends on the cards you have or actions you can do. And there as well, you can't win the game alone, because everybody goes against you, you can lose. You need friends to at least be in the running. You have to have negotiation. If you want something here on the board, then you have to talk with somebody else to let you have it there, or protect or not take it away, and then you give him something, and then there's even more politics there than are here. That is even more random than this, but it's, again, you play it for the journey, for the thematic experience. I think we can skip the last part. I think they know.
I think so.
Okay, let's do it. I don't think it's gonna come as a surprise to you guys that we don't particularly enjoy this game, right? I mean, we're mostly here to warn you to stay away from it as much as you can. If somebody suggests playing it, I think you shouldn't do it.
I stopped listening to you like 5 minutes ago.
I think everybody did.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Best of 2023. It's the best game for sure that we have played this year. It's obviously a must-have. There's no need to write it down. You could have just You should just not even turn it around. I mean,
Is
that's
this the procedure?
kind of
I was just
obvious.
following the protocol.
Okay, I'm doing my part.
Yeah.
Not all games are for everybody, but this one is totally for us.
Totally
This
for
is-
us, yeah.
This is your copy, your and
Half
one
of
of
it's
your
mine.
friends.
Yeah.
Which is a very doubtful story because you and friends. Anyways, I feel like I have to have my own copy. It kind of feels like this is that one game. Not just I'm writing down Must Have as a great game. I'm writing
Putting it
down
on.
Must Have because I need to buy it.
Good thing you're going to Essen then. Maybe. You definitely should try this. Find somebody who has this and play it. And if you don't have anybody who has this game, then buy it and play it. If you don't like it, Giannis is gonna buy your copy. I can say that internet truth.
Yeah. No.
No? I already did. Oh shoot, you just cut it out then. I'm kidding, he's not gonna buy your copy.